everyone. My name is Jess Spillers. I'm here with Cristina Goodwin for our first episode of Spill the Goods podcast. And this is not your normal political podcast. This is specific about Manchester, New Hampshire, where we live and where we love. And really diving into what the decisions mean at City Hall for you personally. And focusing here on some local issues and translating that into how it affects you from the top down all the way at the federal level to the state level, down here to the local level. So I am Jess Millers. I ran for mayor of Manchester last year in November 2025. Prior to that, I was on the school board representing our home ward of Ward 8 for 2 years. And I will let Cristina introduce herself.
Hi, Cristina here. I'm a lifelong Manchester resident. I left for college, swore I'd never came back, and here I am. I live down in the Ward 8 as well. I ran for alderman last session. My first time running. I did not win the seat, but I learned a lot.
Should have run the seat. You should have won that seat.
Well, we have elections for a reason. And Jess and I are here to really just kind of, as she said, dive into what's happening at the local level and how that affects you. I know a lot of people in my age group are just starting to sort of pay attention to what's going on, but aren't really sure what any of it means, but they know they're not happy. So we really want to focus on why paying attention at the local level especially is important and how some of those local decisions will impact you living here in the city and beyond, really. And our focus is really local. How can you get involved locally? How can you pay attention locally? And so we'll be talking about things that go on at City Hall for the Board of Mayor and Aldermen, things that go on at the Board of School Committee, things that go on sometimes at the State House, sometimes at the federal, because they are all very intrinsically linked. But it's not a specific politics podcast in terms of we're going to be not specifically talking about politicians or things like that, but really more so policy and what that means. So,
yeah, I mean, and I think you summarize it so much better than I do. So as part of this, I mean, we know that there may be some people who know us fairly well, and there may be others who are hearing our names for the first time. Cristina and I did get to know each other over this past election cycle, and that was how we met. We met at the Dems, the Manchester Dems, connected because we're both, we work full time, we have children, young children, all of our kids are in public school. And we were some of the youngest people in the room. And so it creates a connection and a bond. I think, especially being a woman running in politics, you need to have each other's backs and support if you're gonna survive the cycle, honestly. So with that said, we know each other, but we also don't know each other. Because I did not grow up in Manchester. I am a military brat. And so we relocated to New Hampshire in 2000 when I was a teenager. My dad was in the Air Force. And I've done some traveling of my own. But, Jimmy and I moved back here in 2014 to New Hampshire and then specifically to Manchester in 2016. Been here since in the same little white cape over here by the CVS. And so we thought it would be kind of fun if we just kind of go back and forth and ask each other some general questions, get to know each other a little bit. So you can also hear and get to know us and decide what you think. So,
let's do it.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Cristina, you said that you lived in Manchester your whole life. What schools did you go to?
So I went to Manchester Public Schools. I started at Smith Road over in Ward 2 and Hillside, and then I graduated from Central High School, went to college in Johnson and Wales in Rhode Island, not for cooking. I can cook, but I don't have a degree in it. Again, decided I was going to leave and never come back, and things changed and life happened, and I've been here in Manchester since 2 years after graduation, and family homeowner now down in Ward 8, and my son goes to public school now too. Um, because of that, I feel like I'm doing pretty okay here. I'm a pretty strong proponent of public schools. My son's had a really great experience at public school. We've had wonderful teachers, and I assure you he can read, write, and do arithmetic very well. So zero concerns from me there.
So many people love to say that. When you were in high school or middle school, did you do anything like band or sports, or what were your like your what did you do back then?
Yeah, what was my thing? Growing up, I did a lot of dance. So I was ballet, jazz, tap dancer. I did point
That's
for
so
a little
funny.
while. Never intended to go pro or anything crazy like that. I also played the flute in middle school. But quite honestly, the summer band commitment prior to high school was just a little much for me. So I did not continue with the flute either. So
It is intense.
yeah.
That's so funny that you did dance classes because I also did dance classes for a
Oh,
really long
yeah.
time.
Yeah.
I started when I was a little kid, um, with some dance classes on base. We were living in a remote base, and just continued doing that, forever because I think it was probably, like, a really easy thing to transfer to.
Yeah.
Like, when you're moving from state to state a lot,
There's always
if
a dance school.
there's always a dance school, and it's hard to, like, continue with sports because you always have to try out again, and people have to figure who you are, and, when you're 10 years old, like, what coach trusts you when you're like, "Yeah, I'll be great at shortstop, put me there."
Put
So,
me in, coach.
um, that's so funny, but I also did dance classes for a really long time until I was a teenager,
Okay.
and then I stopped and did
Okay.
softball and ran track. And I held the track record at Nashua North for the 100-meter dash. I don't know if I still hold it, but for a little bit
All
with
right.
12.8 seconds.
So you're
So,
very fast for very short moments.
which I think explains my campaign for mayor.
Good to know. Good to know. What was your favorite type of dance?
I really enjoyed tap. I just thought it was fun.
Me too. It was very fun. Very noisy. It was very fun. Yeah.
Yeah. And I
Yeah.
just loved like I used to watch a lot of old movies like with like Fred Astaire and
Mhm.
everything.
Mhm.
And so it was always fun to watch him in the movies and then try to like not replicate it because who could do that, but just like,
Yeah.
be a part of something that he was part of, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
That sort of stuff was fun.
Very cool. So you moved around a lot.
Yes.
Ended up in New Hampshire ultimately. Where was your favorite place to live growing up?
Growing up, my favorite place that I lived was this is gonna sound really weird, but probably the Mojave, out at Edwards Air Force Base. It was super remote. It took like 45 minutes just to get off base because it's a huge base, and all that was off base was this quirky little town called Rosamond. And at the time, I don't know, I have no idea what it's like now, but at the time, there was just a Chinese restaurant and a very small shopping mall that was pretty much everything was closed except for like one or two stores. And we would go to this little Chinese restaurant all the time because my mom just needed to get off base.
Yeah.
Um,
You
but
had to really want it though if it was
you
a
had to
commitment.
really want it. You had to really want it. And but just the desert itself is so beautiful.
Mm.
And there were these times where there would be wildflower blooms occasionally in the desert and they're really gorgeous. But just all the like the freedom we had there because the base was so remote. My parents kind of just like let us run wild
Mm.
a little bit and I was a young kid, like, I think it was, like, 8 or 9 when we left there.
Oh wow.
Um, yeah, we, like, rode our bikes everywhere, we went down to the park, we had a lot of freedom, yeah, and I don't know, I have some really funny memories there of, like, my family and just, we would get bored as kids, and so I think boredom is, like, when you come up with your best things, and
For
we would
sure. For sure.
definitely came up with some great things to do, me and the other kids who lived on our little street. But that was definitely, I think, one of my favorite places that we ever lived, as growing up anyway, as a kid, yeah.
Very cool. Very cool.
Yeah,
I've never been to Mojave.
it's pretty. I don't know. If you ever go, there's Joshua Tree National Forest, and
Mhm.
they're so cool looking. It's always a cool
Yeah.
thing to do. But
Yeah. Very fun.
yeah. Um Siblings. You had siblings growing up?
I do. I have one younger sibling.
Okay.
Younger. She's only 15 months younger than me. So, um, we were only a grade apart in school growing up. So,
So fun.
we were not close as children. We were very territorial and competitive as little
Yeah,
kids.
I can see that.
But once I left for college, we got very close, and she's one of my best friends now, which is great. She lives in town. She has no kids, so she's also my son's best friend. She
Oh.
can't say no, which he loves. So shout out to childless aunts.
Yeah, right?
Yep.
Oh, man.
How about you?
I have one younger brother. We're 22-ish months apart.
Okay.
So he actually, um, caught up to me in school and, in terms of math. So we were in the same math classes.
Ooh,
Although I say
tough.
this
Tough.
because I say that, but, like, we're also homeschooled. So it wasn't
Oh,
like
okay.
we
Okay.
were homeschooled, because of military life. My mom was a high school, physics and math teacher in the public schools in Ohio prior to having kids. So she part of living in the Mojave, I went to kindergarten and learned nothing, because all that was available were the base schools, unless you wanted to drive an
Mm,
hour and a half,
mhm.
to the nearest private school. So she taught me after kindergarten, and then, it just kinda stuck around because it was a lot easier than transferring schools. Um, and yeah, eventually, my younger brother caught up to me in math. Uh, he is, I think in my defense, he is literally a rocket scientist.
Oh, okay.
So
So it's hard to
I
compete with that.
think that, yeah, I was pretty hard on myself back then. And like now I'm, you know what? Like I should have been easier. Like he's a really smart guy. I don't think.
Funny.
Um, but yeah, I think similar to you, like definitely during like the teenage years, we did not hang out as much and we had very like separate sort of friend groups and
Mhm.
everything. And now that we're older, and especially now that we both have children, like it is a different reality.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so it's pretty neat. But
So we're both oldest daughters,
we are
which I feel like explains a lot about
it does.
everything.
We are.
Okay.
We're eldest daughters. And you said something the other day about being the eldest daughter. Are you also like the oldest grandchild?
I am. Yeah, on my dad's side, it's just me and my sister.
Yeah,
But on my mom's side, there's, gosh, I don't even remember how many cousins there are now, but I'm the oldest of them.
that's
So,
so funny. I am
yep.
same situations.
Uh,
Same thing on my dad's side too. It's just me and my brother, and then
mhm,
I do have a cousin now. My uncle married my aunt Tundra, and um, her daughter from a previous marriage.
mhm,
She is my cousin.
yeah.
But um, that, and then on my mom's side, I am the oldest of. I think there's like 8 or 9 of us. Yeah, that's so funny. That
Yeah.
explains so much.
Yep.
And we did dance,
Yep.
and we live in Manchester,
Yep.
and yeah, I mean, I think we have a lot in common.
We do. We
Um,
do.
when you were in high school, um, who were like the big bands?
Oh my gosh. I was very much into boy bands and pop when I was in high school. Um,
Who wasn't?
so Britney Spears and Christina Aguilera and all the pop girlies. And you did have to pick a side growing
Yes,
up, and I
really important.
chose NSYNC.
Thank you.
So
Yes.
they were superior.
Ugh, they are
Um,
in every way.
yep, yep. So I was an NSYNC girl.
Yes.
Actually, one of my first concerts was their No Strings Attached
Ah,
tour,
yes.
which it's hilarious to me now because my son is almost 10 and he is discovering NSYNC via Deadpool and
Oh,
thinks they're just so great.
no.
And I'm like, yeah, I know.
You're like, I
You
was
want to
there
talk
when it
about NSYNC?
started.
Let's listen to some deep cuts.
Yeah,
So, that's been fun. That's
that
been
is
fun.
awesome. Yes, I was an NSYNC girl myself, and I also really loved Spice Girls.
Mhm.
Um,
I think I
I
watched the Spice World movie
yeah,
a million
till I
times.
was like blue in the face. I knew everything about that. I listened to those CDs, and this was, of course, like back in the day when the CDs came in the box with the lyrics, and so you could read the lyrics, and then like whatever you would learn the song that way. And I don't know how kids learn songs these days or the words to songs or anything, but, like, I would just sit there, and I don't know about
Read
you,
the
but I would
lyrics?
listen, and I'd read the lyrics, and I'd sing
Yeah.
along.
Yeah. I still look up the lyrics on my phone just to confirm
Same.
I've got the right lyrics because 'cause I'm not gonna be singing the wrong ones.
No, it's so true.
I don't know, I think they just listen to them over and over
That
again.
feels so hard to me. I don't know.
Yeah. You
I
can't,
don't
like,
know.
tape it off the radio and replay it?
No, like, you can't do
I
these
don't
things,
know.
which was, like, a feat when we were kids,
Yeah.
taping it off
You
the
just time
radio.
it just right with the radio commercials and the DJ talking.
Right.
Oh,
Yeah,
it's very tricky.
it was. Um, and yeah, I mean, I think the, um, the Spice Girls and the NSYNC thing, is one of my, like I loved music growing up, and when I got to college even, I would just save all my money
For
just so that I could go
concerts.
to concerts.
Mm.
Constantly trying to go to concerts, but, not so much these days anymore. Not definitely not with 3
Because
kids, and then
tickets are
also not with
so
ticket prices.
expensive these days for
Um,
concerts. It's crazy.
yeah, which I mean, the economy is crazy,
Mhm.
and that's affecting everything from our grocery bills to our concert tickets.
That's right,
Um,
that's right.
so, I mean, this is gonna be kind of a new endeavor for me. I don't know if you've ever done anything like a podcast before.
I have not.
No.
No, never. Nope.
No. So, I mean, we're learning together, and I hope everybody else will learn with us and be patient with us as we try this out and we get better over time. We will, I promise.
Mhm.
Um, but
So what can people look forward to from, Spill the Goods? Let's
I,
tell them.
yeah, we have so many good things that we want to talk about. I mean, some things we want to talk about, obviously, locally, we want to talk about the city budget and
Mhm.
the things that are happening at City Hall in terms of new ordinances or changes to zoning or, investments that the city is or isn't making,
Yep,
so that we can know how that's working for us. I mean, because really, when we pay our taxes, that's our investment in the city. Um, that's
yep,
how the city and the city services function. So we should really be paying attention to that a little bit more as a community.
I agree.
And things like what else had we talked about? Like things like immigration.
Yeah,
Um,
all kinds of topics, really. I think we've got a long list we might never get through, and we'll probably pivot on that as
so
well.
many, I'm
But
sure.
really, I think my personal goal with this is just engagement and
Mm-hmm.
awareness for people.
100%.
There isn't really, I hate to call this a media space, but like a podcast is media. There
Mm-hmm.
isn't really a media space focused on local Manchester. Um, we'll probably have some candidates for office
Yeah.
on, maybe some current sitting offices,
Yeah.
elected officials on. Um, just trying to give people the space to be connected to what's happening at City Hall because it
Mm-hmm.
is very personal. Everything that happens at the local level personally affects your life. It affects your
Yeah.
trash. It affects the roads you drive on,
Yep.
the athletics your kids get to play. I mean, honestly, everything. And um, that was really my goal here. Is how can we get
Yeah.
this message to more people?
Right.
I talk to my connections about it.
Yeah.
I try to get folks involved, but there's a lot going on. I mean, some of
Yeah.
those city hall agendas are
Massive. And at the end of
100
the
pages long, it seems
yeah.
like.
And I have
So,
to imagine at the end of the day, sometimes they're really long and none of it is really of much substance other than maybe like a few appointees or things like
yeah,
that. Like a lot of pages sometimes are just, presentations
yeah,
that people are going to be giving. So,
yeah,
yeah, I mean, I agree with you. Everything is personal and you should take it personally. Like, this is what is happening in the city is going to affect you, whether you like it or not,
yeah,
whether you vote or not. Um, so, we should all be paying attention, especially in these times where, things that are happening at the federal level are coming down and affecting the state, which is coming down and affecting us here in Manchester.
yeah,
And so I hope that we can pull all of that together to give you, all of our listeners, and anybody who views this, a better understanding of what that means for them and how they can be engaged.
yeah. And I think probably one other thing we're working on, because launching a podcast isn't enough of a thing. We
We
are
have
also
enough.
hosting a candidate forum.
Yes.
So November of this year is a big election for this state. So we've got a ton of state offices up for election, as well as federal. And if you're not paying attention, we have a very, very crowded race for the CD1 district, which Manchester is in.
Yes.
There's an overabundance of candidates running. So one of the things that we're looking to do is just give everybody a space to hear from them. So we are
Yep.
going to be hosting candidate forums. So our
Mhm.
first one is coming up in May. We'll have way more details about this as we get closer, but it'll be a chance to hear from all of the CD1 candidates that are running and that want to participate. So we've
Mhm.
invited them all. We've got almost everybody committed
Everybody but
at this
one.
point,
Yep.
down at the Manchester Library. So it's going to be spring, it's going to be evening. Come down and hear from our candidates so you can get an idea of who to vote for in the primary. Because that's going to be a big decision and a big deal because we want to hold the seat.
Yeah.
Currently, Chris Pappas holds
100%.
it, and
Yep.
it's giving us that many Democrats in Congress.
Right.
We are currently in a minority, but we don't want to make it even more of one, hopefully. And spend some time in the beautiful downtown Manchester afterwards when
Yeah.
it's spring and it's nice. Go get a cocktail, go get a
Yes.
ice cream, and walk and enjoy the downtown
Yeah.
afterwards. Is our goal.
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. And I'm excited for that. I think that forum's going to be really key. Like you said, there's a lot of people running in that race. And sometimes it's hard to distinguish like
Mhm.
who are they and like
Yeah.
what is the difference, you know? So I think we're really hopeful that that will kind of draw out those differences for folks so they can really know who they're voting for
Yeah.
in the primary and that that person aligns with your values.
Yeah.
In addition to that, I want to just put a plug that we are going to be soliciting questions from you all,
Yep.
from people who live in Manchester. Um, we are going to put up a form on our website, but for now, if folks are interested in sending a question along, you can send an email to info@spillthegoods603.com. We are going to ask you to put in your name, your address, and then pick a specific candidate that this question is for. We want this, like we said, to be a way to distinguish who each of these individuals are who are
Mhm.
running for Congress. So be specific in your question and be specific who your question is for. Your info is private. We're not sending this out or anything. This is really just so that we can guarantee the questions are coming from all parts of the city, and that everybody feels represented in that. So
Yeah.
again, if you want to send a question our way for that event, it's info@spillthegood603.com. And like I said, we will eventually get a form up there, but for now,
Yeah.
if you'd like to send one our way. We will ultimately choose them. So just because you send one doesn't mean it's going to get asked, but we would love to hear from everyone in terms of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ex-
So this is just a little intro episode so you know what we're doing, why
Yeah.
we're doing it, and maybe who we are. So we can't promise we'll have weekly episodes because
No.
we are working full time and doing an abundance of other things. But we will post them as we have
Yep.
them, and hope you guys tune in and join us.
Yep. And where can they follow us?
You can follow us on Instagram at spillthegoods603,
Mm-hmm.
as Facebook, spillthegoods603.
Mm-hmm.
We're there. We're not on TikTok. I left
No.
TikTok personally.
I You'd have to do that. I have no idea. I don't have TikTok. I've
Yeah,
never had TikTok, so I have zero idea how that runs. I don't know.
we're not there.
We're
Okay,
not there yet.
we're on Instagram and Facebook.
Maybe we will be one day.
Yeah,
We're babies at this.
yeah,
This is like super new, but excited to do it. And yeah, I guess we wrap up now.
yeah.
I
I
guess
guess
this
that's
is where we
it.
kind of wrap up and
We
say,
did it.
listen next time. We did it.
We
We filmed the
started. We
first
did
one.
it.
Um and keep an eye out for that next episode, the real episode with our first like solid
Yeah.
agenda.
Yeah.
Be exciting. Good stuff. Thanks for listening.
All right.
Have a
Yay.
great week.
Yes.